Yes, good afternoon, morning, whatever time it is for you. Hi, people. My name is Minstock Evelon. I'm the tech lead over at Universal Equations. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about user story mapping. I wanted a very focused and narrow conversation around that. What you see in your screen is the AHA Create app. It is free. Well, they do have a free version. And for those of you who are really serious about this, there is a AHA Roadmaps app. It is not free. I think it starts at like $59 per month. And AHA does not pay me to use this. It's just they had a ready-made example or template of a user story mapping. I thought it would be something good that I can just do really quickly, so I can just talk about a couple concepts related to user story mapping. Right. So with user story mapping, you see the word user story in the word. Right. So you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be talking about. But here's the thing. Those of you who are familiar with, because we're not going to go deep into agile principles and philosophy, et cetera. We're not going to go deep into Scrum and all of that. There are, other times where we will, but I just wanted to go narrowly into the user story mapping. So this, that's kind of the prerequisite to this particular conversation. So when we're, I guess with user story mapping, let's start with the user story itself. And this is the format. This is how this is written. Those of you who use Jira, some of your tickets may look like this, as a type of user, whether it's a business user, a guest user, a paid user, customer, guest customer. I mean, there's so many different types of users, so many use cases for this type of language. And for whatever you're trying to create, they want there's some action, that capability to be developed, and there would be a benefit of that action, right? So the thing I wanted to focus on about this is that what we're doing is that we are focusing on improving the user experience, right? Whatever type of user it is, we're focusing on the user experience. And I'll put the hand here just so I can, move around without changing changing the arrangement that I have here, right? So I will say AHA is pretty nice. Like I said, it's not the only tool that does this, but they have a really nice template. Like I said, this is free. It creates your account and you log right in. There you go, user story mapping for Create. So, again, I'm not trying to sell this. Only thing I'm trying to do is to get the concepts across to you as clearly as I possibly can. And I think this is way better than me just talking at you about these concepts. I can actually show you. Right, so user story mapping, and this is the textbook definition. It is a visual exercise. So one thing I like about this definition, I guess we'll go through the whole thing. We're talking about product managers and software development teams, and that will create the most delightful user experience. So again, with the user story, we're focusing on the user, some benefit to some user. When we're talking about a user story, and a developer will get this and actually try to implement this in a release, right, during some sprint, right? So the visual exercise piece, I think we need to talk about that a little bit, because again, this is a prerequisite. When we're talking about the visual exercise, we're talking about the fact that what you may be as a developer or a product manager, I'll use their language, as a product manager or developer, you may be familiar with backlogs, and these are flat lists of tickets, user stories, etc. What user story mapping does is make that two-dimensional, right? As opposed to one that just one list one column of backlogs. So here what you have, let's go down further because now we're getting into the meat. So here what you have, and I'm assuming this is some kind of e-commerce website that they have as an example, is what they call themes, and this is very common language when we're talking about user story mappings. So at the product manager level or product owner level, whatever you all call it in your organization, when they're having these conversations, and okay, let me go over here because this is some good stuff over here too, because frame the problem, and we're used to doing that, and that is, this goes far beyond software development. You're framing the problem in a lot of other different industries and disciplines. So this is not new to anyone. But here we're understanding the product's users, and this is the step. This is the prerequisite to us actually mapping activities and user stories. So we're understanding the product's users, and then we're saying, okay, let's get some themes together. A user's going to want to be able to find merchandise. He's going to be able to want to select the merchandise. A user's going to be able to purchase the merchandise, and he will also want to be able to manage his order. And these are very general things on purpose, right? Because the developer may not even see this. Because what can a developer do with this anyway? A developer will probably see this at the Epic level. Say, oh, okay. We break this find merchandise down to being able to open the app and then search for products. We break this select merchandise down to be able to view product details and add to cart. We break this down, so on and so on. So this becomes epics, So if you're doing this in Jira, and Jira is, very popular tool. Obviously there are others, but very popular tool, right? That you'll see. Large percentage of development teams use Jira, so that's why I'm using that. Again, Atlassian's not paying me to sell their Jira. Actually, they do a very good job doing it on their own. But here's Epic. So you may actually see this when the user story or ticket is created. It may be coded within an Epic. So you may have users, you may have actual tickets, Jira tickets, that are grouped under this open app epic, grouped under this epic, grouped under this epic, grouped under this epic. So again, with user story mapping, we're getting a visual representation. Going back to the definition, this is a visual exercise. So you can actually see things a lot better. Then again, like we said, this is in contrast to just a flat list, just a flat backlog. Because if you get a flat backlog, you don't really know how things relate to one another. So here, these are actually organized. You kind of understand, and you can also prioritize, right? You can also prioritize, which is also key, right? You can also prioritize, and you can not only organize by themes, epics. You can also go to the releases. Right? You can also go to the actual releases. You may say, okay, we want this in the first release, this in the second. This is a logical order. Okay, so you can it's visual. You can understand and organize it, and it gives the product managers and the development teams more confidence that they can actually get this stuff done, as opposed to just having an infinite list of items in a backlog. Right? So yes, you may see this, right? So then we get into releases. I don't know if they have this here. Yes, plans, sprints, and releases. Flow and prioritize. Yeah, they do go and talk about the prioritize piece, activities and user stories. Okay, boom. So this is this will ultimately be user stories, which will generally show up in this format. Right? They generally show up in this format. So we should be able to, okay, as a such and such, as a type of user, as a customer, I want to be able to view product description, right? And, and that's obviously going to be a benefit of that because you want them to be able to select the merchandise. Or maybe you want to view product details or add to cart, but it'll fit it'll fit the way you want to organize. Um, so me, just because I think logically, I'll pick one of these. That'll be the benefit. You better add it to the cart. But you may, and there's a point to doing this as well, because the product manager may better understand it at this level than if you put the benefit at this level, right? So it just depends on how your team is organized. Like I said, it's really about giving features to users, right? And that brings me to another point, because some of you may be familiar with what is called a minimum viable product. That is not this. That's not what we're doing here. Minimum viable product is saying, what are the minimum number of features we need to get this out the door. Now, you can customize this any way you want. I mean, you may say, in between the epics and the release, let me put minimum viable product. You may do that. I mean, that may be what you do, but the focus is what I'm saying. The focus is saying, this is not about creating a minimum viable product. This is about adding value to users. This is about enhancing the user experience. Specifically identifying features that will enhance the user experience. That's the, that some people may have already created a minimum viable product before they even get here. That's what I'm saying. Because this takes time. All this takes time. So they may say, look, we're going to do a minimum viable product before we even get here. Then they may get the confidence to say, okay, yeah, let's bring in some people and let's map this stuff out. So you know how your organization, what will work best for your organization. And maybe you got to try a couple of things, but ultimately, you'll arrive at something that works for your organization, and it'll look something like this. This is just one example, right? So again, like I said, it's organized by releases. You can fairly easily create user stories from this, right? So this is user story mapping. This is what it is. So I think you get an idea here. Okay, I think we can start to wrap this up. I think you get an idea here of what user story mapping is, about its benefit, about its use, its utility. Like I said, this is not about creating a minimum viable product per se. This is about adding value to users. It's about prioritizing features, etc. And this is the contrast to just having some unorganized list of user stories, right? Maybe you start with just the backlog, right? Maybe you start that. Maybe that's what you do. What you do here, maybe that's something that you do here, and then you flow and prioritize, and then you get it, and then you begin to plan the sprints and releases. How you want it to go. But you'll do it in a way that fits, and it's maybe different for different products. It may depend on the product that you're trying to create, right? But these are, just some things to get you going, just some things to understand where you can go with this, and hopefully you're able to see the value that this can, give to your team and to your organization, right? So again, I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to, hopefully you already know a little bit about Agile, or know a little bit about things like Scrum and other things related to that. Here we just wanted to focus on user story mapping. All right. So as always, feel free to click the like button. That'll definitely help us out, or click the subscribe button so we can get more content out to you guys. And we will talk next time. Thank you.